his lessons and his concepts and do something with them, and put yourself on Front Street with doing something with them. And then more importantly, try and help other people, because that's the ultimate lesson. I just want to echo what you're saying, brother. I really do.
Do you remember when we were talking and I told you that I was wrestling with feeling guilty about leaving because I feel like it's going to be viewed as selfish, like I'm being selfish when I've tried to do everything I possibly have done to, to, to be anything but selfish. But I have a wife, I have kids that I did not spend much time with in these markets and the things I did with people on the internet, I'm not talking about just mentorship, but like all the time. Like I would be answering emails back on Baby Pips, and I loved it. Like I love it, and it's going to be an adjustment for me not to be doing it anymore. So I'd wrestle with that guilt of should I feel this way? I'm very very passionate about it, but if it's going to be a choice of staying married or doing this, I'm staying married.
It, I mean, respectfully, I mean, I want to say, and I say respectfully, respecting our private conversation, but I told you, having gone through a divorce myself, like for me, my wife resented every time I picked up the phone. Every
Mhm.
time, and I didn't even have a fraction of the following, but it had to do with like the markets became to her like a mistress,
Mhm.
right? It was diverting attention. And you have the markets, as well as even back in the day with Baby Pips. I don't know what the exact numbers were, but you had tens of thousands. I mean, I want to say it was like 30, 40, 50,000 people way back when, before it was the global body that it is now, to the tune of millions between combined socials, right? So I could empathize and relate as a husband that dirty look that my wife would give me just by picking up the phone, like you're not focusing on me,
Mhm.
motherfucker. That can't last.
Yep.
And I feel like I can empathize with you on that. And I've gone through not one wife but two wives, and I've chose trading in the charts over my relationships with them. And at times I'm very, I regret it. But at other times I say it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because it's bringing me more to my real self. So I can, just like then, I want to say it now again on Front Street. I mean, this was the conversation that we were having, right? Like
Mhm. Yeah.
this was something I think that's extremely important for folks to really understand the real you, not ICT, the global icon, Michael Huddleston, the man.
Mhm.
Being
Can
a
we talk about
father.
some of the things that we did in that conversation? Like I was giving you some questions and I was interested in your responses. And I think, I
Yeah.
don't know if you've said it in other, maybe you did, I don't know. But I kind of like want to do a little bit of, you know, recanting of what we discussed. Because if we were to close it and this is all there was to discussion that we've had today, it's going to feel like, well, it was kind of flat. It didn't do too much. I mean, we chit chatted a little bit. One guy asked a question, some other person gave some approval and appreciation, which I'm thankful for. But at the time when we were talking, I was doing interviews and asking folks, how they got into trading and what was the most difficult things they had to go through while learning, and what were those things that they leaned on to keep themselves motivated. Because I mean, you're running a community, okay? You are the cheerleader, but who's Kit's cheerleader? Like, what did you do to stay motivated, to kept you hopped up, keep going forward, and that energy that it gave you to be this spearhead, to be a driving force, to encourage other people, and to lead a community that has a like-mindedness about doing these very things. Before you got to that point where you decided this is what you wanted to pursue, like what were you